Are you ready for an adventure? Because we weren't. Hey, YouTube.
Hello. So we're on site of the Nero Larp. As you can tell, we don't just do this for the fun of it.
We're in our cabin. A lot of bed bunks.
Very nice cabin here that they have here at this particular campsite. It's the second overnight event of the year. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it was amazing.
Absolutely. We went as new characters this time around.
We did. So we mentioned in the last video that we came up with this amazing idea, and we wanted to try it, and we did. It was awesome. So we rolled out pirate characters.
Sailors.
That we kept saying we were sailors to everyone who asked.
But nobody believed us.
We stroll into town, everyone's like, hey, you guys look new. We're like, yeah, we're sailors. And they're like, oh, okay. Hey, come meet the pirates. We're like, no, sailors. They're like, oh, right, sailors. Sorry. Come meet the pirates. We're like...
The townspeople keep calling us pirates for some reason.
They really do. I don't know why. We haven't stolen anything that they've caught us stealing. And I mean, we haven't stolen anything except like loot that we didn't share.
Hey.
Allegedly.
But
But they didn't see that anyway, so... Yeah, we're just dressed like sailors. Like, here, let's see if we can take a good look. So this is kind of how we're dressed, and because we're dressed in a very sailorish-y theme, everyone's like, oh, you guys must be pirates. We're like, no, we said we were sailors. They're like, you're pirates. So whatever. I'm just going to start stealing stuff.
You haven't been already?
I mean, allegedly, no. All sorts of shenanigans that went down as a result.
Yeah, we had a blast.
Side note, it takes a lot longer to get into these costumes than it does our Viking stuff. So our last characters were real quick. Remember, I got changed from my PJs to my outfit and out the door in 2 minutes. In 2 minutes, at this point in time, I think I had my shirts and my pants on, and I still had like a million more things to add to the outfit.
Our characters had the sash, boots, boot covers, belts.
Dude, the boot covers alone, I think, took me 3 minutes to put on. There's so many buckles.
Necklaces, shirts, vests.
Gloves. My character, gloves. I wore gloves. I have been wearing these awesome gloves that Larpgasm told me about. And I found them on a website that he recommended. So thank you, Larpgasm, if you're watching this. These gloves have been amazing. Not only do they look cool when I'm wearing them, but they hide gold very well. So I've been picking up gold and just shoving it down into my glove. Yeah. So much more stuff. It was amazing.
And we got so many compliments on our outfits, which was an incredible feeling.
Yes.
Especially going from one set of outfits for our barbarian characters to completely new characters and new outfits. And
in the span of like 3 weeks, we did this. So the last Nero game was done, and then we had 3 weeks before the next Nero game. So in that 3 weeks, we came up with the idea for our characters, made our characters, got our outfits, put them together. Like we actually bought the fabric that we used for our sashes, and so we made sashes ourselves.
Our sashes, which have
stags on them. You can see.
It's really cool.
Which we don't have sewing skills.
No, we don't.
No.
But it held.
It did held. So we're but if you guys know how to sew, please, links somewhere, YouTube, I don't know, help us. We're not good. So yeah, we got here yesterday. We were late, but they still hadn't started, so that was cool.
LARP time is different than normal time.
So we got here, we had dinner, they opened up the LARP, called Game On after the intro ceremony.
And we got attacked right away. No time to prepare. The bunch of monsters just jumped in and started attacking us.
So Oric and Cinder needed spell component packets. They didn't have spell packets. So we got Lonnie. And we were like, hey, we need that. And he's like, yeah, sure, right after Game On. So he did the thing and he did Game On. And then he stepped off to the side. And we went and got him. And so he took us to the NPC camp to get spell packets. We literally walk out the door as everyone is rushing in. And we're like, oh, hey, they're being attacked. So about those spell packets. And we just walked off.
that was great.
So I'd like to point out that our characters have no loyalties to anyone other than the ship crewman.
Even then, it's a little... Wait, yeah. I got a ton of loot that I did not share with the rest of the crew.
That's true. We'll talk about that later.
They're still holding a grudge. Our first characters we made were barbarians. And they were designed to be like an intro to this LARP. See how the mechanics work.
It was a way to experience the LARP. Without knowing too much about it and without really knowing too much about LARPing, because we're both new, and so we didn't know what to expect. We did meet a lot of other new players who, unlike us, have done other LARPs, and so they had more experience. We're completely new. Like, we decided, hey, let's try LARPing, and proceeded from there. So it was not something that we knew anything about. We have some limited D&D experience, but it's very different to sit around a table with your friends and laugh and say that my character does something and roll a dice and do it, and then actually go to a LARP and be your character and do what it is that you normally say that you would do. It's a very different feeling.
With all the benefits and the consequences that go along with it.
Yes, we'll get to consequences later. There were some consequences. But yeah, so the first characters were just to experience the LARP, experience the rules of the LARP, and kind of get a feel for what it is that we wanted to do within this world that these amazing people have created. So these characters were pretty simple, very straightforward. My character, Uhtred, was a fighter. That's what he was. He was there for combat. He lived for combat and the glory of said combat. And that's where our character shined, was in the combat.
Yeah. My character, even though he was a Templar, which could use magic and fight, he's still a barbarian and he still enjoys fighting. I felt like he was kind of pressured into service because he had to have the spells to heal people. It had to be a certain role because he was good at it.
Now, that's not saying in any way, shape, or form that we did not enjoy the characters, because I really enjoyed Uhtred.
We did.
There was a simple beauty to the straightforwardness of the character, especially with everything that's going on in the current story arc that's going on that has to deal a lot with nobles and stuff like that. Like, I got to poke at things and kind of stir up trouble that way because it's a very simple, straightforward character. But you don't get to experience a lot. Like, where my character suffered was in the role-playing aspect and just dealing with other people. Like, I didn't know how to take a character that is combat-focused and, okay, let's put him at a table with food and drink and other people and now don't hit anything.
Yeah, and my character was faced in a different situation, so he was very closed off to any kind of interaction, and some people pointed that out, and I'm like, but my character... And that is something Milo struggled with. Not Ace, not this new character.
Yes. So with the new idea and the new characters, we decided to focus less on the combat side of things, now that we have an understanding of how it works, because we're going to fight the same way regardless. So we decided to focus on the roleplay elements of it. Quick change! It's really nice out, so we decided to come outside. Oh! Snap that! We didn't even mention it. We're at war! It's official. So yeah, we have officially declared war. The king of Rockmactyr, which is where we play, Barbarian Lands, has officially declared war against the queen of Avandria, who is an evil woman right now, and she's doing all sorts of things.
Yeah.
But it has become official that we are at war. Just in time for us to roll our new characters in.
Isn't that a little convenient?
Not really. Our new characters are not very war-minded. Our old characters were, but...
No. We're helping the town. We're smuggling things in.
That's true. Well,
out.
Not right now. We're not smuggling anything yet. Yes. Like we were saying,
New characters.
The focus was going to be on the roleplay this time around, as we're going to fight the way we fight regardless. I have antlers, as you can see, and then face paint that had to go with the particular race that I'm playing. I'm playing a scavenger race, and then obviously buck themed. My character for this LARP is Buckland Harp, who is the captain of the ship called the White Stag, which we actually have. This is our insignia that flies on our flag. It's on our ship. It's on our shields. Yeah. So we're very deer themed. These are formal spells. I actually have magic this time around. Like I can read and write, and I can do magic.
Right. I have no magic.
We switch roles.
And my character is Ace Periwinkle. He's a Garabari. He's a rogue. He doesn't have any spells, but surprisingly, I don't quite need them. People aren't relying on me to heal them, which is a good thing. But I still know first aid, which is the most important, so the person doesn't bleed out.
I have some healing spells. I kind of dabble. I have some fighting capabilities, some healing spells, and some attacking spells, which, according to everyone who plays Nero, is a really bad way to go about it. But I had fun doing it. Like, I don't care.
My character did as well. He's not worried about healing people, but he is quick, and he would run and get help if anything goes down. So he's fast enough to get help without dying sometimes.
Sometimes.
I did go down.
I went down a lot, too.
I tried to help somebody. Fortunately, we have amazing healers. Again, you guys are the rocks.
I mean, I'm not an amazing healer. I did heal some people, though, and I felt pretty amazing. So I guess I'm an amazing healer. But there are people who are way better at it than I am.
We also brought a couple of friends with us.
One new person and one returning person.
Yeah.
So that was fun. The new guy played a...
Human.
Yeah, human. I think he was... so he is also a Templar. He is trying to make his character a...
Avandrian.
Yes. He's from Avandria. He's essentially trying to make a French Cavalier. So, the Musketeer era style of...
His story is like this. He was on a quest. He got shipwrecked. We rescued him. And he's been tagging along until he can come back to Avandria and free Avandria from its current oppressor. And he's been talking to some people about how to go about that.
He's never getting off my ship.
Yeah. We're keeping an eye on him.
So the returning player was our friend Jennifer, and she was playing a character named Sender this time around, who is also a Gadabari, but unlike this Gadabari, she was a healer.
Yeah.
And originally she was going to be just a healer.
But she found out that she needs some kind of protection.
Very quickly she realized she needed a sword.
Yeah.
So she did some tweaking and got a sword.
She wasn't bad. She was really good at healing us and keeping us alive.
She did run out of spells. However, we were given a lot of healing potions, which we gave to her, that she then forced down our throats.
So all my healing spells went to her.
Yeah, I gave her all of my potions. I kept my spells. Obviously.
And we made an semi-alliance with the Sea Lions, that if we needed any more healing potions, just go to them, and they'll be happy to provide them. Because everybody needs healing.
Yeah, but they also made that deal with everyone else, so I don't feel like it's a semi-alliance.
Yeah, true.
Like we came to an accord, is really what it was. They were like, we have them, you guys need them, if you run out, come ask. So...
It benefits everybody. If our healers have ability to heal their people, they win as well.
Exactly.
Win-win.
So yeah, she's focusing just on healing. Unlike my character, I had some healing. All of my healing spells were saved for when the healers went down. I just ran over real quick. It was like, "Pow!" And then, so she was just forcing potions down everyone's throat. The biggest difference between a potion and a spell is the spell is instantaneous. Verbal touch, bam, boom, you're up. Where the potion is like, I force feed you 1, I force feed you 2, I force feed you 3. You're good.
Yeah.
So, time.
Because when you're dying, you can't drink, you know?
So those were the biggest things between the potion and the spells, which is why I kept my spells for the healers. Because I was like, we can't afford to not have you guys that long.
However, there are potions that are in the form of gas. So you throw them, they break, and it's a gas form, so it's instantaneous as well. We had a couple of berserker gases thrown at us.
By farmers, no less. Don't trust farmers.
Especially if they have to tend to their sheep.
Yeah. So, it happened, what was it, Saturday?
Yeah.
So Saturday, we're all chilling in the grind, which has become everyone's favorite place very quickly. Girls, thank you for that. Again, you guys are super amazing at what you do. But we're all chilling in the grind, and we're playing cards and drinking and just carrying on, having a good time. Some NPCs walk in, and they are farmers, and they want drinks. They get some drinks, and then they're talking. And then one of them goes, we should probably go tend to our sheep. And then they immediately start turning around and throwing berserk potions at us. Which was the second time I was forced to turn on my friends. Because I got hit with a berserk potion and had to start attacking people. I attacked Cinder because she was the closest one there. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. Ah!
You monster.
I know. The first time I was forced to turn on our friends was Friday night, actually during the big mob of attacks that we had. I was down.
Yeah.
And while I was down, one of the NPCs walked over and basically cast a spell that controlled me. Oh. And then he gave me orders to go around the side of the building, enter in the side, and start attacking my former colleagues.
Wow.
So while the attack was going on in the front, his goal was that I would slip in the back, hit a few people, and force them to turn, which would help
their cause.
Yeah. So I did that. I went in and started fighting people. I had no control over my body, okay, people? I'm sorry.
I swear, the captain's gonna get us all killed. Ace has been talking about mutiny. Let's just say that. Probably right, but this is not gonna stop him from talking about mutiny.
We're a lot like Firefly, okay? If you guys have seen the show, I'm the captain and they're the crew, and this is constantly going, do you want to be captain? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, well, you can't. It's a lot like that. It's a great show, by the way. If you haven't seen it, go watch it.
Let's talk about some of the shenanigans that went on.
Yes. Shenanigans ensued. So I'll go ahead and start. The biggest one that was talked about the most was one that I had pulled. So one of the players was given chainmail for the first time, and he put it on and was like running around with it.
He's actually the deputy.
He is a deputy. But he's a frog. I think, like me, he's a scavenger.
Yeah.
But he's a frog scavenger. He's a big dude, too. Like, huge, tall, and wide guy. And he's a frog.
He was taking off his chainmail.
Which he needed help with. He had never had chainmail before. So we were assisting him in removing it and giving him pointers on how to best take it off in the future.
He took off his tunic, his shield, deputy badge.
Yeah. So all of the law people have a necklace that they wear, like a leather thong with a like a shield on it, and that shield represents that they are servants of the law, whether they're deputies or the sheriff himself. Mm-hmm. And so he took that off and he left it on the bench as he's carrying his chainmail to his car. And I was like, you should, take this with you. And he's like, it'll be fine. Like, as he's walking away, and I'm like, someone could steal it. And he's like, it'll be fine. I'm like, someone will steal it. Like, will. He's like, it'll be fine. And I'm like, well, that settles it. I got to steal it now. So I took it, and I put it on. And then I went to the grind. And they brought, so the grind actually brought a new person with them, a gentleman. So it's not just ladies now. There is one gentleman.
Was he an elf?
Yes, he is a wild elf. But it was his first time. So he did not know us, because we had not met him previously. So he did not know that I was not, in fact, a deputy there. It was perfect. I could not ask for a better setup. So I walk in, I see him, and I'm like, you. And I walk up to him, and I hold the badge out. I'm like, I believe we have a tab. And he's like, he sees the badge, he looks at the notes, he's like, yes, you guys do. And I'm like, I would like a drink, sir. Put it on my tab. Only it wasn't Buckland's tab, it was the sheriff's tab.
Yeah. And you went and turned it in, didn't you?
Yeah, so I gave him back... Well, actually, Gleb got it from me.
Oh, so you give it... Gleb is another Garibari. And despite what you may think about Garibari, this particular one never lies to the sheriff.
Nope.
So he put two and two together and told the sheriff exactly what happened.
Actually, I don't know how he found out, because I told him out of character. So I don't know how he found out in character that I had purchased a drink. Maybe he thought it was all in character. I don't really know. Doesn't really matter. It all worked out really well, because I could not have asked for a better response from everyone. I got fined 5 gold for impersonating a lawman and illegal use of ordering a drink on their tab. 5 gold. 5 gold, I was fine. My drink cost 3 silver. Okay. 5 gold I had to pay for it, which I paid.
When I found out about this, I was freaking out. Like, we're going to get into some serious trouble.
Yeah.
But then marvelous things happened.
Everybody was talking.
Yeah. And one of the guys I was talking to, he's like, well, I can help you pay that fine. I mean, I was actually teaching him how to play Evandria Hold'em, a card game. And he was like, from some of my winnings, I can help you pay the fine. I'm like, oh. And then you had some offers.
Yeah, I did. I actually had 3 separate people come up to me and like pull me aside and be like, I will pay for your fine. Because that was hilarious. It was awesome. Everyone's talking about it. Absolutely love it. I will give you 5 gold to pay for it. I was like, I've already paid for it. Which I then realized when I went to bed later that night that I should have just accepted the 5 gold. Maybe in the future. We'll see.
He's a bad pirate.
I am. It was a learning experience. Had 3 different people offer to pay the gold. I had one person come up and pull me aside out of character and was like, I heard about what happened. That is absolutely hilarious. I love non-harmful shenanigans. Like, we have another guy that pulls shenanigans, but they kill people. Like, that's not fun. What you did is fun, and everyone's talking about it, and everyone's having a good time about it. If you do this from now on, I will pay for any fine that comes your way. So I have an out. I'm going to be pulling a lot more shenanigans when they arise, because I no longer have to pay it.
So we're coming up with plans.
So yeah, that was a lot of fun for me personally. It was just that everyone was talking about it. It got back to me on several different occasions that, like, different people were telling me the story of what I did. I'm like, yeah, that was me. I did that.
We also started gambling.
We did.
It wasn't as organized as we kind of hoped.
No.
But it was still a lot of fun. I was teaching a guy how to play, and he's like, I'm not sure how wise it is to gamble with a pirate. I'm like, wait, I'm a sailor. And he's like, oh yeah, sorry, I forgot. And I taught him how to play Evandria Hold'em, which is just Texas Hold'em, but we want to make it authentic.
Yeah. Which I'd like to point out right now, that under no circumstances under that entire weekend did we ever once say we were pirates, and everyone called us pirates.
Yep.
I even had one guy come up and was like, so I hear you guys are really good at like taking stuff that isn't yours, like piratey things, and I might have a job for you. And I was like, very loudly, it was like, whoa, sir. No, we're not pirates. We are sailors, sir. We are honest, wholesome. And then it looked like really quietly, it was like, what do you need?
Yep. Totally.
Because we aren't pirates. We're just not calling ourselves pirates. No, it was a lot of fun, though. Like, we had a blast.
It is now the second day. It's Saturday. And I don't even know what time it is. But they're serving lunch, so it's probably sometime around noon.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're going to go eat. And then we're going to probably have a few more skirmishes. Do another big mission battle. And then there will be more skirmishes, more free time.
In the evening, we're going to do like a talent show type of thing?
Yes. So we have some players here that we mentioned in a previous LARP that set up a coffee shop. They call it The Grind. So tonight, The Grind is doing a talent show where you can sing, you can read a poem, you can give some sort of inspirational speech.
And they give you a free drink or cookie.
Yes. So that's probably going to go on while they're setting up for the big battle that we've got going on tonight. We're going to do the talent show. We're going to sing What Do You Do with a Drunken Sailor? If we can get some filming of it, we will. If not, sorry guys, we'll let you know how it went.
The Grind and the coffee shop, they put on a pseudo-talent show?
Yeah.
I mean, it's basically what it was. They didn't call it a talent show. I forget what they called it, but it's basically a talent show. So you show up and you do something very entertaining for everyone who's there to watch, and if you do so, you get a free drink.
And they accepted tips for the performers.
Supposedly. I never saw any tips. Did you see any tips?
I heard about tips. But it never reached our pockets.
Yeah. Funny how that was. No. Oh, the pirate guys? No. We're not tipping them. We're watching you girls. No. It's fine. Things happen. It was the first time they had tried it. It was pretty chaotic. I got a free drink out of it. I'm happy.
The first performer did a poem.
Yes, he did, and it was amazing.
A very naughty poem.
I don't know what you're talking about, sir. It was a blacksmith poem about hammering iron. There was nothing inappropriate at all about hammering iron for another dwarven woman.
The next performer was actually Gleb. He told a story about
spiders. The moral of the story, don't throw rocks at birds.
Next came Cinder.
Yes. So Cinder did 2 performances. She did one with us because we all did one. And then she did belly dancing on her own because that's what she does in real life. She enjoys it.
She made an arrangement with one of the other people there. And he was...
I'm pretty sure it was the poem guy.
Yeah.
The dwarven poem.
And he was drumming as she was dancing. And it was awesome. A couple of monsters came in. Half ogres.
No, I remember them coming in. They put on a performance before Gleb. That's what we're forgetting. They did the thing before Gleb.
They performed as well.
Well, one of them did.
Yeah.
It was very entertaining. I don't think a single word was actually said. It was just a lot of shouting.
It was their art. You gotta give them that.
I'm not saying that I did not enjoy it. It was very enjoyable. So those of you guys that did that, it was 3 NPCs that performed that. Thank you guys. That was super entertaining.
Yeah, absolutely. Then it was our turn. And we did, we went up there and started a shanty.
Yes, we did the pirate shanty. What do you do with a drunken sailor?
Yeah. And everybody sang along. Because everybody knew the song.
Except one guy. One guy did not sing along. It turns out one guy does not like that song.
Really?
Yeah, doesn't like it. And I'd been whistling it all weekend, and it annoyed him. And then we sang it that night, and it annoyed him. And it was absolutely great because he was in the crowd, and I'm watching him the whole time we're doing it. And he's just like, "Why?"
Hopefully, next couple of times we're gonna learn a few more chanties and sing with the rest of them. I talked to the ladies, and they said they wanted to do more talent shows like this one because it was such a success.
Yeah, which I'm okay with. And honestly, we do have several months until our next overnight game, so we've got some time to learn some more songs, which we're going to try and do. The Sea Lions, they did an Irish song.
They did?
Yeah.
Ooh, must have missed that one.
I can't think of the name of it right now, but they did it. It was really good. They are not themselves Irish, but it was a really good song. So after every event, you get to take a survey. And one of the comments that Yev had made on the survey was that he didn't know what components were, had not seen them at any point. Like, we've heard that components are used for making spells, but up until this game, we had not seen a component at all.
And I mentioned that in the survey, and they listened.
Yes.
And this time around, while looting some of the monsters and NPCs, we found components. It's formal magic components. You can only get a formal magic if you've mastered all 9 levels of spells, and then you can use formal magic.
It'll be a while before I do that.
However, if you know somebody who can do formal magic, you can go to them with the components and exchange those components for a powerful spell, like Vengeance.
For those of you watching and don't know, Vengeance is a spell that when created, it is put on you, the person, the player, and when you die through a killing blow, which is you are immobilized for whatever reason, the person walks up, killing blow 1, killing blow 2, killing blow 3, you die instantaneously, regardless of how many hit points you have, any of that jazz. Upon dying from a killing blow, Vengeance explodes, and it takes that person who just killed you with you. So it's really cool and kind of scary at the same time. It's a great way to deter people from doing killing blows, even though everyone still does killing blows, because we had one. I learned at the end of the game that one of the Sea Lions, actually the captain, Sir Captain's wife, Dame Captain, was killing blowed 3 times over that event. She used 3 Vengeances.
Wow,
which was scary.
Yeah, I saw one of the NPCs kill another player, and he used a Vengeance, and his wife came and was like, "That's what you get for attacking my husband."
That one was pretty funny. I was actually there to see one of Dame Captain's deaths from killing blow. I was not able to get to her in time to prevent that, so she died and exploded.
We found out that a lot of people are buying components, and I was selling my components to the sheriff. I found out that some people would pay more for those components, so I feel a little cheated.
I mean, what goes around comes around?
Yeah, that's fair.
Not to say that the sheriff didn't give a fair price.
It was a fair price, but
we think.
But I could have gotten more.
He could have gotten more. I decided to hold on to my components, so I still have all of mine because I don't know what they could go towards yet. So I want to know what they could go towards and see if that's something that I could actually use before I decide whether or not I will sell them.
Yeah.
Because I'm a spellcaster this time around, and I can actually cast from scrolls, which I did. Lots of scroll casting this event. It was awesome. I'm telling you guys, I was totally useful.
And my character liked sneaking up on people and attacking them from the back, which I have proficiency in, and my back attacks do a lot more damage than my front attacks. Like I could do, with all my skills stacked together, 16 from the back for one character.
16.
Yeah. And like 3 or 4 from the front. So I was doing the back attacks the whole time. It was awesome.
One of the big complaints last game was the auction system and how it's a little bit broken, because the way auctioning works is if you have the most gold, then you get the item, because you can just outbid everyone else. The problem with that being is that a lot of the players are low-level characters, like us and several others who are new to the game. And there's nothing wrong with that. Being new is fine. In fact, being a low-level character so far has actually been really enjoyable.
Yeah. And I've actually talked to some of the high-level ones, and they've been thinking about making low-level characters just to have fun, because once you're high-level and you have a lot of more responsibilities, and you have connections, you have titles like Lord and Lady, Mayor, and
King,
Sheriff. You have to take care of these responsibilities. Like, the lady of the mayor had to talk to the baristas because the baristas had a legitimate complaint, and she had to resolve it. Things did not go according to plan. So what happened was, they had a meeting in the grind. They were talking, whispering, but you could overhear a few things and get the gist of it.
I don't think they were whispering at all. When I walked in and sat down next to them, because I didn't know they were having a meeting, and I was probably sitting about this far from them, as I am from you right now.
Out of character, one of them was whispering. Everybody else was talking normally.
Okay. I showed up for the very end of it.
Yeah. And they had a discussion about what happened to the baristas last time around.
Yes. So as we mentioned in our previous video, last game they were attacked and murdered. So this game they were trying to get resolutions.
They were trying to get their memories back. Some people did remember what happened, and they were trying to get retribution, or at least some kind of punishment to the person responsible, which is a high-level noble. He did a lot for the town, so they made him noble, and he can get away with a lot of stuff.
He can.
And the sheriff cannot do a thing about it, because the sheriff has no power over nobles. And the priestess really wanted something to happen. They tried to talk to the sheriff. The sheriff couldn't do anything. Now they're going a step higher. If that doesn't work, they were talking about going to their king, because they're just visiting. They were talking about going to their king,
which will start a whole nother war that we don't need right this moment.
Absolutely. The wife of the mayor, Tamrian is her name, she is talking to these baristas about their situation. She is having a hard time believing this noble is responsible for this because of all the good that this noble has done. She's never seen this noble do anything wrong, and she's having a hard time believing this. So she heard them out, and towards the end she found out that they weren't paying taxes.
And then she stopped hearing them out.
Yeah. She's like, okay, meeting adjourned, so let's talk about taxes. And
she like completely flipped it on them. Which, by the way, bravo. I was there for that part. That was an amazing flip. Like it went from the baristas being very angry about wanting retribution and everything to the baristas being very wrong in not paying their taxes.
She's like, this is gonna change now. You're paying taxes.
And then she walked out. And I feel like nothing got, at least from what I saw, nothing was settled for the baristas. Which I kind of feel bad for them, like out of character, but in character, that was amazing. Way to strut your power. Flawlessly.
However, the baristas talked to enough people that some people higher up heard the concerns and made things happen. So when we went on our quest at the Saturday night to Dream World,
yes,
they were able to get their problem resolved.
Sort of. They got an answer to get their problems resolved.
Yeah.
So they now have a direction that they need to go in order to get their memories back. But they don't have their memories back yet.
So what happened was that
we needed a flower.
Yes.
So...
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, the king is still in a coma. And we need certain components to do a ritual magical spell in order to wake him up. So last game, we did the tree thing.
We rescued the king?
We rescued the king, and we got one of the pieces needed in order to start waking him up. This time, we went into the dream world, and we got a flower, which is another component. So we now have 2 of the needed components in order to wake him up.
We got this flower from the dream.
The dreamer?
Dreamer, yeah.
That's all they were known as, the dreamer. Now let me tell you guys, she was scary.
Yeah.
So again, they turned the tavern into the dream world for the big Saturday battle, and they filled it up with smoke machine gas. So like smoke was everywhere.
No, it wasn't everywhere. It was just around her.
Oh yeah, that's right. I mean, it kind of like floated everywhere.
Yeah,
but it came from underneath her. They put her up on some tables. They put the smoke machine under the tables.
They had lights around the tables, and as well as a strobe light.
Strobe light in front of her, yeah.
Yeah, and every time she just like moves a bit, and somebody looks at the right time, they would freak out.
It was really cool. Yeah. Well, she looked very creepy. It was amazing. Which brings us to our next point. That girl can scream. Yeah. All right, so we go in there and we're fighting and we're kind of sort of doing okay, I guess. Like, I didn't really feel like we were making much of an impact. Just because there were so many things to fight. But we fought expertly. Again, we went in kind of like curved around the door when we first rushed in. So once again, I was pinned at the back, but this time around, I was a Templar, so I had spells. So when we went in, instead of just standing at the back and then ultimately helping mages so that they could continue casting by collecting spell packets for them, I was able to go in and actually do spells myself. So we got in, and I couldn't get up front, so I just started casting spells and hitting targets. And then I saw an opening, so I rushed forward, and I started fighting like side by side with some of the major hitters. Sir Captain was one of the ones that I was side by side with for a while, and I'm doing like 4 points of damage because I'm a new character, so every attack is 4 magic, 4 magic, 4 magic, and he's like 27 essence, which these creatures were weak against, so it like doubled. And I'm like, 4 magic.
Yeah, I was doing 4 normal, which is like even weaker.
So,
but in the middle of this battle, she just screams, and we freak out.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell?
If you guys have seen something for us, the little girl witch, her scream, that's what came to mind when I heard it. Those of you who play the game, you'll know what it is. Please leave a comment below. Tell me. It's going to drive me crazy. But yeah, she just blood-curdling scream out of nowhere. We're fighting creatures, and there's smoke and lights and strobes, and it was
Everybody
intense.
froze when she screamed.
Even the NPCs froze. And the first thought that went through my mind was, we're all dead.
Yep.
Luckily, we were not. It was actually the turning point for us. So she probably should work on her scream, because that was not a turning point in our favor. That was a turning point like, we're dead. We done screwed up. Which we had been warned going into there that if we woke her, we were dead. Like,
because she has the power to destroy worlds. That's what we were told. That's why we were scared.
She screamed, and we were like, we woke her up, we're all dead. Dead!
What actually happened was they got the flower, and the second part of it was the baristas were communicating with her to try to get their memories back.
Oh, is that what happened?
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
Because having to see the sea lions killing you and then serving them.
Yeah, it's true. The sea lions are like a big part of the...
And then serving them food or drinks. They couldn't do it because that is a traumatic experience.
Yeah, and the sea lions understood that. They were trying to stay away.
Yeah, they kept their distance.
Which they didn't want to. And we don't want them to. We want everyone to be friends.
Yeah.
Because when everyone is friends, no one is looking over their shoulder. When no one is looking over their shoulder, we can rob them blind.
However, I did not try to rob anybody blind this time, just because I know how things work. If they have a magic shield and I try to waylay them, they're like, magic shield. And I'm like, oh darn, I'm caught.
So the Sunday battle that we had was an army.
All the fighters and barbarians are off in the battlefield.
Yes.
And I've actually seen some of the mechanics going on. They had a little mini-map of the current battle. They wanted to set up a military block of troops. And when the enemy would come in, they would have cavalry from one side, from the back essentially. And then another set of troops coming in, kind of like a pincer move on them. It was epic. That's the battle plans that were going on in the war, further away from town.
The problem with that was that all the barbarians were off in a war, and the town was unprotected.
Yeah.
So this other guy gets a small army together, and he comes after the town. And I was very quickly like, is it too late to run? I have no loyalties to these people. But we stayed and fought.
Yeah.
Like a boss. So yeah, they had siege catapults themselves,
which have the ability to explode and destroy anything within range. That includes your weapons, your shields, your armor, your loot bag.
The loot within your bag.
Yeah.
Unless, of course, you have a magical bag or item that is immune to being, like, shattered or something.
Yeah, shatter resistant or impervious to shatter.
Which I think that's what I'm going to use my goblin points for, is a magical bag of holding. You should give me all your money.
What could happen is you have this pile of gold you've gotten through your adventures, like maybe 100 gold, and you go onto this battlefield, and a catapult hits you. All that gold, gone. Gone. Mm-hmm. All that effort, out the window. Fortunately, we were warned about this.
So I left all my gold behind.
by the sheriff. And we left all, if not most, of our gold behind.
I carried 3 silver on me from then on at that point. Enough to buy a drink.
Yeah. We left it at the cabin, which is warded. And we went out in the battlefield. Somebody did get exploded. Fortunately, they were prepared. They had shatter resistant or impervious equipment. They were safe for the most part. Yep. I don't remember anybody who lost anything.
No, nobody lost anything.
My character Ace would not risk it though. His armor was not shatter resistant. His shield was, and he did get a sword, but his bag of holding was not. So what would happen is he would sneak around behind the trees and attack mobs from the back because that's his skill.
Nice. I actually split off with the 2 other fast runners, and we went around. There were some stairs that led up and basically behind the catapults and ballistas. So our strategy was to go around, go up behind, and attack the people firing at us so that they could not fire at us. Unfortunately, we did not move fast enough, and a very powerful wizard saw us and immediately moved to counteract us.
Yeah.
But no plan survives first contact, so we very quickly adapted, overcame.
Yeah.
I had an awesome moment of uselessness in that one.
Ace, however, did save somebody from a killing blows.
Yeah.
1 or 2 killing blows. Yeah.
Nice. I thought I was saving somebody, but it turned out they were already dead. So we were fighting, and I saw Captain was like way up by the catapults by himself, down. And I was like, oh crap. And so I saw an opening, just like this straight line clearing, and I took it, and I bolted. I was probably a good like 40 feet from him. I just ran as fast as I could. I reached into my pocket, I grabbed a spell packet, and I started yelling the incant that I need, and I ran up to him, and I like touched him on the back and just kept running. And he's like, ineffective, I'm dead. And I was like, no! And then I died.
Yeah. However, we were successful in defending the town. We gathered up the loot. However, we did not have enough time to distribute the loot.
Yes, so it will be distributed later.
It's going on right now, while everybody's not in game. So there's a time frame between each games where things in game could happen, but we're not really there to make it happen. So we cannot role play it out on Facebook. Some of the things are going on, like they had the auction on Facebook, which is usually done in person. And
I'm actually bidding on an item.
Yeah. I let him borrow 6 gold.
It's 10, actually.
Is it?
I asked to borrow 10, so that I could, because I have 30. And I bid 30 gold because that's all I had. This guy bid, he bid 25, so I bid 30. And then he bid 35. I'm like, no, I have to have this. So I texted you and I was like, can I borrow 10 gold, please? And you were like, yeah, sure. So I'm like, 40 gold.
Yeah.
So far, luckily, no one else has bid on it. So I'm hoping that I will get it. If any of you are watching, do not bid. I don't know where it is. Do not bid. Please.
Pretty please. Put sugar on top.
Because 40 is my limit. Like, I borrowed 10 from him. That I can't borrow anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, I probably could, but I don't want to. But it's a fan. Like, it's a fan that allows me to cast 6 more spells. And as a spellcaster, I feel like that's really useful.
Yeah.
So I want it.
One thing we didn't mention is the armor we got from Sir Captain. The asking price was 100 gold for each piece of armor.
Yes, which we'd like to state right now before you guys freak out. 100 gold. Sir Captain was nice enough to make this armor for us. It is real leather armor that he is allowing us to pay in-game currency. So we're not actually paying any real currency. We're paying in-game currency for this armor that he has made for us.
If we were to pay real currency, it would be $100, which is really affordable. If you have the money.
Yeah.
It's a good deal if you have the money.
We don't, which is why we're really thankful that he's allowing us to do currency in-game.
Yeah.
So, plus the armors look really cool. Like, mine is it's a solid piece. I have to cut it because it's a little too long, and I can't draw my other sword when I'm wearing it. So I needed to cut it up, make it shorter just a little bit.
Yeah.
But it laces up at the front with straps. And it's kind of like this, kind of like bluish black dye that he did. It was a quote-unquote failed dye attempt, is what he told me in the beginning. But I think it looks really cool.
Yeah, it does.
And it's kind of that... It's like a neat sloppiness that really fits our characters anyway. Like, we're just a giant hodgepodge of characters.
You might see it in some of the pictures we put up. Or you've already seen it on Facebook. Mine was more dexterous armor. It was shorter up until the
bottom of the chest,
the bend of the ribs, so I can bend over, and it fits my character well because he's a rogue and he needs to be able to move around real quick.
And it only goes over one shoulder.
I'm thinking about getting a shoulder pauldron, for that shoulder, but I do have a shield on that hand, so I'm pretty protected regardless. Overall, we had an amazing time.
So much better than the first one. I think not necessarily because of the characters, but because we found a way to really fully go out with the roleplay element. And that's what really made this game, especially for me, which is the roleplay element of it. I even dubbed an accent for the character. It's a really poor British accent, so I apologize to any British viewers that might roll over in your grave at any point. I just wanted to try something, so I'm enjoying it.
And the best part about LARPs in general is you can be anybody who you want to be.
I'm a deer.
And I'm a sleazy pirate.
Suave. You are suave.
Suave pirate.
He really is suave. Like, he has a hat, and anytime he introduces himself, like, he takes the hat off and, like, bows with it. I'm just like, I wish I didn't have antlers right now so I could do the same thing. But my character has antlers. So I can't wear a hat.
Awesome experience.
We made some deals with a couple different people. Stuff that we're still working out the details for.
We are currently investigating or infiltrating a prison to rescue Sir Captain's father.
We were also hired to essentially be ears for another player whose character travels a lot because he NPCs a lot. So his character is a traveling merchant so that he can NPC so much.
And we just report him what goes on. And we get a silver piece for the information. Unless it's more valuable information. Something we've overheard that we weren't supposed to. Or... I mean, it could be a very lucrative deal.
It could be. We also are potentially being hired out to smuggle some food to a Gadabari camp.
Yes.
So...
it's still in the workings.
Everything's really in the workings. The only thing we settled on for sure was to be the ears for the traveling merchants. But we're really excited about our characters. We're really looking forward to stuff. There's a lot more stuff that we want to get for our characters.
Plans.
As far as like looks and more dice
and more fancy pants.
More fancy pants in general. Just more costume stuff. Like, our goal is to be fabulous 100% of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks again. Thank you for watching this.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Comment.
Comment, yes. Because we want to know what you guys think. We actually got invited to a new LARP.
We did. Next Saturday, we're going to another... We got invited to something!
Yeah!
Holy cow! God, that dawned on me yesterday. Like, we actually got invited to something. Here we are with like 13 subscribers. And
17 actually.
Oh, 17. I haven't been on it in a few days. So, yeah, we are nowhere near people like Momo O'Brien or Kaza Marie. You know, they get invited to stuff all the time. LARP House, you know, they're constantly posting about how they got invited to stuff. And I'm like, that sounds like it'd be a lot of fun to be invited to something. And then we actually got invited to something. So we're going next weekend. It's Rock? Realms of Conflict?
Realms of Conflict.
Yeah. Realms of Conflict is the LARP that we're going to. We are hoping that we don't make too much of a fool out of ourselves because it sounds really complicated.
However... they said that we couldn't really screw up more than they have already screwed up themselves because it's a very player-driven story.
To which I say, challenge accepted.
Apparently, even more so than Nero. We'll tell you guys how it went the next time, and if you guys want to see something new, please let us know or just say hi.
We like highs.
And as always, adventure is out there.